Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We are going to be jumping right into our presentation, how to sell in a buyer's market. I'm going to just give this one more second here to make sure we're all good to go. Brandon, when we're good, just give me the rock and roll.
Roll and rocket. We're good.
All right, let's do this. So like I said, hello everyone. We are so excited to welcome you to our Real Estate Y Series event, how to sell your home in a buyer's market. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this evening. And we are so excited about the presentation that we've put together for you tonight. We have 5 amazing experts ready to just fill you with their knowledge, talk all about things home selling. So let's jump right into it. So as you can see from our agenda, we've allocated about 30 minutes for our main presentation. We're going to follow that with a quick Q&A session, and then we'll be taking questions from both our chat and our Facebook Live. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop it in either of the chat boxes. And following our Q&A, we will be doing our draw for the $50 Visa gift card. If you are either watching us live on Facebook or you are attending our Zoom, you will be entered into the draw. So we'll be taking those names during the presentation, putting it into our wheel and having it ready to go at the end. So as you can see, we've broke down the home selling process into 5 easy bite-sized steps. So who do we have the pleasure of hearing from tonight? Well, myself, Jessica Oates with DLC Harmony Mortgage Group, will be breaking down the pre-qualification process of speaking with a mortgage broker. We have Michele Cummins with Remax Little Oak Realty and the Michele Cummins Real Estate Group, who will be speaking all about what you need to know about the current market and how a realtor can help you maximize the amount you can sell for. We have Corrine Janzen with Fraser Valley Essential Staging. Wow, this is going to be a thing tonight, you guys. Who will be discussing everything you need to know about making your home stand out from the crowd. We have Erin Fleury with Alpine Legal Services, who will be helping us guide through what you need to know about the legal process of selling your home and how that pertains to a sale of your property. And last but not least, we have Kirk, who is an amazing financial planner with Primerica, who will be helping us touch base on what you can do with any leftover sale proceeds and how to make your money work for you. So as I take a second to gather my tongue, apparently, let's get started. So first step of the home selling process is to get your finances in line and get pre-qualified for the new home you will be buying. So very first step, selling your home, no matter if you are upsizing, downsizing, or relocating, is to make sure you know how much you qualify for when looking for a new home. This is important because you do not want to go speak with your realtor without knowing what your budget is. Do not guesstimate how much you qualify for, which could lead you into looking at homes outside of your price point. So what does the qualification process look like? First step would be completing an application. The link to the application can be either emailed or sent via text and should only take you about 20 minutes. It's extremely straightforward and will ask for personal details such as name, date of birth, address history, and employment details. It will also have you include any other types of monthly income you are receiving, such as child tax benefits, pensions such as CPP and old age security, and permanent disability. These are all income types that can be taken into consideration and used during the qualification process. Next, the application will ask you to list all of your assets, which includes vehicles owned, RRSP, TFSA, RDSP, as well as any crypto or stocks that you own. You also have to give details about any vacation properties or rental properties that you own. For the properties that you do own, including the one you are selling, you will need to include all mortgage details, including balance owing, maturity date, current payment information, etc. Everyone's situation can range so greatly that normally I do wait until the initial review of your application before sending over a documents list. This list will include any documents as they relate to your file. So, takes us to our next question. What documents do you need to supply to qualify the entered information on your application? So as stated, the document list can greatly vary depending on what kind of employment you have, if you own any additional properties, or if you have any additional income sources. For most standard employed applications, you will be required to supply the following: a letter of employment, most recent pay stub, and last 2 years of T4 and notice of assessment documents. The last one always seems to trip people up, but if you do have access to your CRA account online, you can go through, save the PDF copies of those documents, and email them right over. It's not difficult at all. If you are a self-employed person, you would need to supply your last 2 years of T1 generals in full, your last 2 years of notice of assessment documents. And if on those documents you owe tax, then you will have to show proof of payment from either the account, your statement of account from the CRA website, or a copy of a bank statement. If you are incorporated, you will also need to show your articles of incorporation, which breaks down who your shareholders are. You also have to have a copy of your business license for the current and previous year, as well as your 2 most recent fiscal year's business financial statements. Other documents that may be required to include are a copy of your most recent property tax notice and confirmation of payment. This is only for the residential properties in your name. Copy of your most recent mortgage statement. This is to confirm the information entered on the application. If you have any rentals, you will need to supply current leases, mortgage statement, and proof of strata fees for each of those properties. And if you are selling and already have an accepted offer on your home, then you will need to contact your realtor to get all applicable documents related to the sale sent to me, or just give me their info and I can reach out on your behalf. Last but not least, driver's license photo and a photo of a void check. However, you're going to be paying for the new home, it's kept on file. And last but certainly not least, the other great thing a mortgage broker can help with is help determine how much you're going to have left over from the sale of your home to use as a down payment towards your new home. We also will take your sale amount, subtract your current mortgage owing, penalty, and if applicable, minus your realtor fees, debts you're wanting to pay off, etc. We also calculate how much you'll be needing for closing costs for the new home if we already have a budget in mind. Closing costs will include property transfer tax, legal fees, inspection, and appraisal costs. And once we get you all through all of this lovely information that sounds a lot more intense than it actually is, you'll be on to the next step, which is connecting with your realtor. We have Michele Cummins with Remax Little Oak Realty and the Michele Cummins Real Estate Group with us tonight, who will speak more thoroughly about what this step looks like. So take it away, Michele.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Really appreciate that. You're always full of so much knowledge. So now that all of us have exactly the first step to take whenever you are thinking of selling or buying, now you want to connect with your realtor. So realtor power, what that does for you and why you need a realtor. So next graph shows you exactly what type of market we're in. So currently, yes, we are in a balance to a buyer's market. It feels more like a buyer's market, and truly it's in the lower section of a balanced market, which is usually fair for both seller and buyer. But the extreme hike that we've had over the last few years, and now the extreme decline that we've had since mid-February, it has changed quite drastically. And it seems like it's changed overnight. This graph shows you exactly what type of market we're in. Above the blue is a seller's market. And you can see at mid-February is when it was at the height of a seller's market. And then it has come down, and you see it now in the blue and very close to a buyer's market. Now, this next graph we're going to show you here is exactly what the average detached prices have done all throughout the Fraser Valley since the 1970s. It's one of my favorite graphs. And you can ask me for the full statistics package, which actually goes through every municipality, and it breaks down a whole lot more. It's pages long. But with this graph, you can see, again, the height of prices was also mid-February and has come down from then. And this is, again, for detached overall in the Fraser Valley. And you can see it's come down a couple 100,000 since February. Now, the next graph. So this one is actually, you're thinking of selling right now in a balance to a buyer's market. Awareness is key, and exposure is key, and driving the interest of the buyers is key. How do you do that? That's full exposure, marketing, how your property looks on the market, street appeal, and so much more that we're going to get into. Because what that means is if you get the interest of your target buyer, then they can make a strong decision, and it's going to be a powerful decision, and it's going to benefit you for negotiating the best price if their expectations are set high throughout the whole process of finding your property, then inquiring about your property, getting all the documents about your property, watching the video about your property, and viewing your property. So every single step of the way, the expectations are being met or exceeded, rather than met and then expectations fall because maybe street appeal isn't as nice, or their second showing, there was stuff all over the property, so it didn't show as nice to them, right? So there's different ways of really keeping the interest of your buyer is heightened. Actions. So when they write an offer, now that's them taking action, and so we've got to keep the power of keeping that interest, the emotional connection with that buyer to sell your property in this buyer's market. How do we do that? Okay, So first, as before we move on to exactly how you get exposure, we want to talk about average days on market. So right now for detached properties overall in the Fraser Valley, we're talking 33 days on the market. That doesn't seem very long. Some properties are more, some are less. But if it's priced right, if it shows well, if it's got the exposure and it's in an average area, then you are looking at selling within 30 days on the market. Currently, we are already in towards the end of September, mid-September. And right now, our market is not going to be as good as it is now after this month and a half of the fall market. In the winter, it looks like it's going to be going down. We know interest rates just went up again, and they may go up again this fall. And then we're looking at a slow winter. So if you want to sell and you're thinking of selling sooner than later, this is it, because it might take a little while, maybe even a few years before we're back at the prices we are now. So we got to get you on the market if you're thinking about selling sooner than later, and we've got to expose it to the best of its ability. We want you to sell within 33 days, especially now. And then townhouses are 26 days, again, within the time frame of this fall market that we're in. And then apartments and condos are taking about 25 days to sell. So with that, the next graph, if you don't mind, yes, I want to show. So how do you expose your property in the highest, most positive way to buyers? Well, just throwing it on the MLS is not good. Let's start from the beginning. Our next speaker is actually going to talk about staging, how important it is to make your property stand out amongst the rest. It is so important. It's got to show to the best of its ability online to the buyer, and as they drive by, street appeal before they even step in the door. And so the photos have to be professional photos, not with your iPhone, please. And you want cinematography walkthroughs because you want to grab the emotion of the buyer. Every buyer wants that next property they see to be theirs. They really hope they connect with it and it's right for them. And like we watch movies, we're happy, we're sad, we're mad, we're glad. We want the buyer to see your video and actually feel so much love for it. Feel like, oh, this is gorgeous, it's beautiful. It draws them in. Same thing with the drone video. We want to showcase your neighborhood, your area, the location. We want it executive feeling to your property, no matter what property it is, from a lot to the Taj Mahal. We want to show your property in its best light, and it's always from above. So we want that drone video, and then a floor plan. Buyers need to see a floor plan. They need to know if their dining room table fits in that dining room or their king size bed fits. They want that floor plan. They want the proper measurements. So it's all about professionalism. And if you have all the right materials for the buyers, then they feel confident. And when they feel confident, they're going to offer the highest price possible. I have with my properties, when I feel confident about a property, I don't care if I'm paying what some people may say is market value for a property, because I love it and I'm confident in it. So all these items to give to a buyer pre them writing an offer is so important. Print advertising. Okay, we are the world of online as we're on Zoom right now, but print advertising is so important still. I get calls and inquiries off my newspaper ads, my magazine ads all the time. It has to go in print as well as online. It has to go everywhere. We need to see things at least 7 times to keep remembering it. And we want to keep your property top of mind with those buyers. So we want them to see it everywhere, when they open up their laptop, when they go on their social media, when they get their newspaper, when they read their magazine, any and every way, when they watch TV. And really just not the local papers, but where is your target buyer coming from? Target buyer meaning who will pay the most money for your property? Who is the most motivated? There's going to be more than one person who wants your property, but who can afford it, who will pay you the most, and who will have the least terms and conditions for you. And that's the target buyer we want to target. So that means also paid for boosted ads on social media channels. That's paying for them. That's choosing, is it male, is it female, what age range, are they a family, what are they interested in? All these things are important. I'm a unique realtor where I do have the only real estate radio show in the whole Lower Mainland. And so I advertise all my listings on that radio show. It's every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Also on podcasts and also, TV commercials. People don't think of that, but there's a lot of people moving here from out of area, transferring jobs. And there's a lot of people in between homes. Unfortunately, they've sold their home, but they haven't found a home yet. and now they're forced to live in a hotel or motel. So I advertise on the TV as well. And YouTube, it's the second most used URL out there. There's Google and then YouTube. That's the order. So of course you need a video on YouTube of your property. So you want to hit all those and plus more and more exposure, exposure, exposure. So how do you get all that? Well, we all work. We don't have time, right? That's one of the reasons you hire a realtor, but the right realtor. So why you must use a realtor? Well, there's fiduciary duties we have as lawyers have. There's confidentiality, loyalty. We're covered by insurance. Professional advice and guidance. This is 24/7 hour a day that I do this, and 20 years in it, and I love it, and I know it like the back of my hand because I live it and breathe it. So that's the type of professional you want. We got more avenues to market each and every property than most general public, and more than 90% of buyers have a realtor helping them find a property and representing them. So you want that network. You want a realtor to have a network and to really expose it to not only the realtor, the real estate industry, but also the general public. So it's our profession, and you want the highest price possible in your pocket. And by hiring a professional, it gets you the results. Now, your brokerage matters as well. And you wonder, why would my brokerage matter? Well, because the brokerage offers something for sellers. What do they offer? Well, the reason I went to RE/MAX is because real estate maximized, and it's true. When anybody thinks about real estate, they think RE/MAX. And then you see that balloon on that for sale sign out front, you think real estate, you think professionalism. So RE/MAX also is in the top 5 brands of all brands in the world. And that's not real estate brands, that's all brands in the world. So you really want to get the right realtor and the right brokerage, and you have to need an evaluation. Now, of course, I give free, no obligation evaluations, but it's really important to actually have a realtor come in, get to know who they are, how do they react to your property, what do they suggest, are they asking you the right questions, and what are they giving you? Statistics, the latest solds in your neighborhood and properties that are like yours, and anything and everything that can help you make the best decision for your life and for your prosperity and for your future, your dreams to come true. Now, marketing the realtor. Okay, not all realtors are the same. And I went through some of the marketing that I have, and it is so important to have a realtor this is a teamwork. This is not just you selling, it's not your realtor selling, it's teamwork. So you want to be hand in hand, and you want to have that good relationship with your realtor. So how do you show your home? Well, that is step by step. You want all blinds open. You want all your lights on. You want it to smell nice, kind of be fresh maybe. You want it, of course, to be tidy. You just want that first impression to be amazing as possible. And that means your street appeal. And how long will it take to sell your home? Well, we talked about the average stats right now. Currently, again, 33 days for detached homes and 26 days for townhouses and 25 for condos. So this seller's home handbook that you see on screen, I can email that to you or mail it to you. It will really help in helping you prepare to sell your property if you're thinking about selling. So with that, I really want to introduce Corrine. Corrine is our stager, and she's amazing, and she's creative, and she's going to help you with that process.
Thanks, Michelle. Oh man, yeah, we have heard all over the news that the real estate market has changed from what we experienced over the last couple of years. So this is a really, really timely seminar, and I'm really glad everyone is here tonight. But you know what? It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. As a matter of fact, if you're buying and selling in a more balanced kind of a market, it's much less stressful to be a buyer. You just have to be more savvy about the next guy, about how you're selling. So it's not really good enough anymore just to put the sign in the lawn and list your home as is and expect, you know, to get that high offer and to sell and you know, shorter than the average days on market. But you can capture the best selling price in a shorter amount of time by making sure that you do all the things at your disposal. And that's where some sound staging advice can come into play. So this evening, we're going to focus on some of the things that we go over in a pre-listing consultation that will help you sell for more in a buyer's market. And remember, this is like a competition right now for buyers. So everything matters. So starting with the outside of your home, well, we've all heard about curb appeal. And this is such an easy one that anyone can do. They say you only get one chance to make a first impression. So step back and take a really critical look at your home from the outside and from the street, and make note of anything that you think might detract from a buyer's eye. Maybe ask a neighbor to or a friend to come by and to look at it from an objective viewpoint, and don't gloss anything over. And if anything makes you go, that looks good enough is going to get you a drive-by, but it is not going to get you top dollar. So don't let average be your standard. So some of the things that you can do to guarantee a great first impression for very little investment in time or money starts with paint. Paint. If it's shabby or worn or dated, consider sprucing it up, especially the painting, peeling trim, fascia, shutters, porch, your railings, the front door. Did you know that a black front door can increase the perceived value of your home by $6,000? I'm actually having my house painted right now, and the neighbors are all stopping by to look at it because it looks so much better. It's fresh and bright, and it just looks amazing. So something as simple as paint. The next thing you can look at as far as curb appeal goes is your garden. So we're coming into fall right now. So mulch, prune, rake, mow, do all of the things that you're going to have to do anyways. Just get to it right now. Don't put them off. Same lines, put away all the summer clutter that's been laying around all summer long, the kids' toys, the old plant pots that you meant to do something with and you never did, garden tools, all the random stuff. Hang up your garden hose. Keep your patio furniture out though to create a nice, welcoming and comfortable feeling space. Now, don't neglect your entryway. You can create a welcoming, uncluttered area leading up to and including your door by replacing your welcome mat. You can fix any cracks in the sidewalk, in the driveway, the cement. Replace the dated hardware on your doorknobs. Have you ever thought about that? What a difference that makes. Paint your door black and put in brand new doorknobs. Doorbells, those new ones with the cameras in them. How about a keyless entry? And update the lighting on the outside of your house. Those old dated fixtures from 15 and 20 years ago that are all dusty and yucky, get rid of them. Make sure your light bulbs are all working too. You can even install new house numbers and a mailbox if you've got a mailbox. And lastly, add some colorful potted plants. These are such cheap, easy, quick weekend fixes that anybody can do. They're inexpensive, but they speak volumes for the curb appeal of your home. So next, we're going to take a look at the inside of your house and some TLC items that you can address. If your house is more than 30 years old, have an inspection done to uncover any hidden issues so that you can take care of them before a potential buyer finds them and then lowers their offer. I actually just, I'm getting my house painted. I also just had to replace my hot water tank the other day. It decided to pack it in. But this is a negative because it was old. It's a negative, and the more negatives people find, the more they're going to look for. And that's going to result in a lower offer. So take care of them all ahead of time. The hot water tank, I don't know, it was $1,000 or whatever. But if someone was to, make an offer, they might bring it down by 5,000. I don't know, something way more. So take care of it ahead of time. It'll increase the value and reduce the chance of having that low offer. So now is the time to make sure you've addressed any minor repairs as well that you may have neglected over the years. And you know what I'm talking about? It's the honey-do list. So any broken switches, molding, other trim, leaky faucets, cracked grout in your bathtubs, all that grungy stuff. We want it sparkly clean. Wobbly cabinet doors and drawers. People open cupboards and doors. You've got to make sure that they work properly. How about squeaky stairs and stuck doors? Any signs of water damage? If I hadn't replaced my hot water tank, I'm telling you, there'd be a sign of hot water damage down there. So some important updates that are a little bigger. These ones, though, have the biggest bang for your buck, and they're still relatively easy, yet they really say your home is modern and up to date and well cared for. Paint your walls, paint your baseboards, and paint your doors. I can't emphasize that enough, how much fresh paint just makes a house feel 1,000 times warmer, nicer, fresher, cleaner, better, more modern. Replace any worn or outdated flooring. I know that sounds like a big deal, but honestly, it will add so much value. The studies have been done about how much value these things add. Upgrade your lighting, like your light fixtures. If they're still hanging there from 1980, it's time for them to go. Upgrade your faucets, shower heads. Low flow and eco-friendly are in. And then don't forget your cabinet hardware. Oh man, that's so easy. You can just shop on Amazon and have it delivered to your house and do it in an afternoon. No biggie. Remember, nobody wants to buy a project. So addressing these items will go a long ways towards your goal of a faster sale for a higher dollar. And I say that they're easy because you don't have to do it yourself. You're investing in your biggest asset for a reason. So call a professional to save time and ultimately money to get your house on the market faster. And I like to offer what I call concierge partners. So that's something that just different sorts of trades that I've connected with that I feel confident in referring to my clients when I'm doing a consultation. So now the last thing we're just going to talk about here real quick is the value of professional staging and what that can actually bring to your property listing when you're selling in a buyer's market. So once you've done all the outside stuff and all the updates, the next thing to do is to declutter. And this, people have heard me say this a million times, this decluttering isn't staging, but it is what you have to do before we can stage. So get rid of all the stuff that's broken, get rid of whatever you're not using, and pack up what you want to take with you. You know you got to do it eventually. So let's do it now before anyone walks in the front door. This includes anything that is just taking up visual real estate and detracting from the property itself. We want potential buyers to see the space and not all your stuff. So for instance, my rule of thumb with closets is to, and pantries and cupboards is to get rid of half of your stuff and then spread out and organize whatever is left. Now, whether your property is vacant or occupied, then we can stage your home to show its fullest potential, showcasing all the best features and all of your hard work. And in a buyer's market, an investment in professional staging is going to help buyers see the highest perceived value for your property and make an offer that you can't refuse. This is one of the this is, after curb appeal, this is the most important thing. It's like the icing on the cake. And you can contact me for pre-listing consultation to address any other issues that are specific to your property to avoid a lower offer. So I hope you found this information helpful. I know it was a lot, I'm throwing a lot at you, but if you only take away one thing from this part of the presentation, remember this: you might not think that you need to stage, but someone else down the street who is competing for the same buyer just did. So keep that in mind when you're listing your property. And next up, I believe we have the lovely Erin to talk about the legal process once you've got that offer and you've agreed on the sale. Take it away.
Thank you, Corrine. So I'll jump right into it. Hello to all our guests this evening. So what do? Lawyers are basically the middleman. So without a middleman, transactions can't complete, of course, because the buyer doesn't want to give money without having title, and the seller doesn't want to give title without getting the money. So the process of this property transfer is dealt with lawyers by making promises to each other. We call these undertakings. And of course, a breach of an undertaking carries significant ramifications for lawyers. There we go. So I'll kind of go through really quickly the general conveyancing services. This is specific to a sale. So we are reviewing that contract of purchase and sale, also the matters on title that we need to address. We're gathering information from the seller to handle mortgage payouts, removal of any charges. That's important because you don't want your sale to be frustrated by something that's not done correctly or left without getting dealt with. And we work with the buyer's lawyer to finalize statement of adjustments to confirm the money that's going to be changing hands and how much, right? So we confirm those undertakings to ensure any matters get resolved. And last but not least, we're receiving the money in trust. We're making those payouts, including those mortgage payouts we have to make, any other charges, and we're providing the remainder of the funds to the client. So choosing your real estate representative, in difficult markets, the risk of issues arising that can jeopardize your transaction also increases. So lawyers can help negotiate an outcome and advise you as to your legal options in the event, or even the potential event of a default. And of course, lawyers are better equipped to advise on family and real estate matters as they pertain to the property. These questions do come up. And I always say notaries are not actually always cheaper. Some are more expensive than lawyers. And even then, of course, that saying you get what you pay for holds true. You're trusting your representative with possibly the most expensive asset you own. And buyers want to ensure they get clear title. So buyers also face those significant risks when purchasing property. So we always say, why not use a lawyer to begin with? And with us, you work directly with the lawyers. So things to watch out for, and not necessarily all bad. The good thing to watch out for is efficiency. So our process is designed to keep things simple. One intake email, one appointment, we take care of the rest, and we deposit your funds into your bank account on closing. We also offer, of course, mobile services, after-hour services, and even virtual services, which some firms don't. So this is important because we can better accommodate our clients and get the deal done. So things to look out for also include avoidable costs. Technology is so important. Embracing technology is important. So for example, we create our own in-house system to generate documents for property sale and refinancing transactions. Again, this is specific to the sale. So we do not charge our clients a software fee. Many other firms will charge a software fee of like $220 per file. And the only time we actually use the software is if we're acting for the buyer. And even then, our software only costs our clients $36. So those are savings right away that we pass on to clients. Of course, we don't charge for additional fees such as printing, file opening fees, or anything like that on real estate files, whereas some firms will charge those separately. So those fees, they quote you, appear lower, but ultimately such fees get paid to the firm. So as these costs aren't third-party costs, they're getting paid to the firm, those costs increases. And this kind of goes to transparency with pricing. This is so important. Clients should always be able to know exactly what they're paying for and what it's for. So it's important that you get a line-by-line breakdown of any quotes so you know exactly what's included and what's not included, so you can make a better comparison. We are the only firm that we're aware of that provides pricing handouts and a clear line-by-line breakdown of our fees. And last, of course, check out reviews. This is something everyone can do. We've been around for 3 years. We're already the top rated real estate firm in Chilliwack on Google, and we're among the top for all firms in the Fraser Valley. Reviews provide you with feedback from other sellers that have been in the same boat, especially now. And I'll also, I will add too, for those reviews, it's not just specific to Google. Go on Facebook, word of mouth also. So on that note, I did mention earlier, our role at the end is to ensure that you have your money. So our wonderful Brandon will take it from here.
Thank you, Erin, for being able to legally pass off our client when it comes to the financial plan and being able to have that organized. So now that you've touched with your mortgage broker, you have engaged your realtor, you have staged your home, and you've legally sold your home. Now it's looking at, what do I do with these proceeds? And what we want to look at is establishing your goals and where you need to allocate your money, whether that's looking at future property, whether that's looking at, if you're at the start of the stage, being able to have your retirement set up, or being able to look at education, and just really looking at, this is one of the biggest transactions that ever happened in your life. How are we going to allocate those funds going forward? So my job is then to use your registered allowances, if we are going to invest, looking at RSPs, TFSAs, RDSPs, etc., to allocate dollars in an efficient manner. And we want to build a relationship with your money and what life you want to provide you. So you've worked hard to be able to upkeep your home. You've worked hard to be able to grow your equity gap. And now we want that money to take care of you. And establishing your FIN. So this is a concept that I talk with each and every one of my clients. Very few actually know what it is when they first meet with me. They all know what it is once they leave. And we're going to go through a quick, little video that's going to explain that in the best way possible.
Numbers have been used to decode secrets in our universe. Gravity, absolute zero, the speed of light. Likewise, there's an important number that can decode a secret in your life. It's called your financial independence number. This is the most important number in your financial life, and yet most of us have never even heard of it. It's the amount of money that you need to accumulate in order to no longer depend on a paycheck for the rest of your life. Without it, we're guessing, and that's dangerous. Pensions are gone. Social Security comes with risk. People are living longer than ever. With your financial independence number, you know where you're going and can be more confident in your path. And here's a tip. When you see it, don't be intimidated. Just ask, how can I get there? The answer is in the number. Let us help you discover yours.
So in the early years, we'll sit down with the family and be able to look at all the responsibilities on the shoulder of young children, high debts, having a house mortgage. But as we transition, and actually once that house is sold, we get into those later years, and that's where children are grown up. We have lower debts because we either pay it off with the proceeds or our mortgages are only debt, which is paid off. And that's where we need our retirement income. And depending on whether you're on the left side and you're selling or on the right side and you're selling, it's good to be on this theory on the right side of this theory of cruise responsibility and be able to make the right decisions so that you do indeed follow with the right suits. So with our next slide, we're going to have our recap. So first step is getting your finances in line with Jessica. Second step is connecting with our realtor, Michele. Third step is home staging with Corrine. Step 4 is your legal process with Erin. And step 5 is your financial planning portion and your financial plan with myself.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon. So much good information coming out of our presenters tonight. So now on the screen, we are going to list all of our contact information, which you can take a photo of. You can scan the QR code if you know how to do that. Like I said, snap a photo, QR code, whatever you would like. I'm going to leave this up for a couple of minutes while we do questions and then switch to the next slide, which has the remainder of the speaker's information on it. We hope you have found the information extremely informative, interesting. If you have any questions, now is the time. So does anybody have any questions they would like us to answer? And this is open to Facebook Live. This is open to our Zoom chat. If you have a question, drop it in a box. We will get to it. And Brandon, you can let me know if we have questions and who they're for. And if you are on our Zoom Live right now and you'd like to come off mute and ask your questions yourself, feel free. We don't bite. So yeah, Brandon, if there's anything coming up, let us know who it's for and we can take it from there. And if for some reason we've just melted your brain completely and you have questions that come up later, all of our email addresses are there. You can always put it in writing and send it out to us and we can get back to you.
Question just came through. How much does a lawyer cost? So I think we'll channel this question into how much are the standard fees for being able to sell your home? So this will be a question for yourself, Erin.
Yes, that's a good question. And you know what? I'll be honest, I like to know what something's going to cost me ahead of time too. So I tell anyone asking questions, go online. We've actually posted all of our costs. It has line by line breakdowns too of those disbursements. We update those costs online so you can see what are those costs for example, what does land title charge that you would have to pay as a disbursement. So all of that is online. Of course, if we start to think that a file might be more complex or it might involve more work, that's something that we will let clients know well ahead of time too. So we'll say, yes, this is the cost, but if we have to do any extra work, generally we'll set that out. If we have a feeling something might come up, we'll let the client know. So for any questions about costs, I say, please go on our website and look at that brochure. Because again, it sets out all the costs and it breaks it all down line by line for you. It doesn't just have, disbursements and a large fee there. It goes through everything pretty specifically.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Erin. Brandon, do we have anything else coming in?
Yeah, so there's a question here. If the house does not sell in 33 days, is the sale fee reduced and by how much? So it's a question for Michele.
That's an excellent question. Okay, so within the 33 days that the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board has for detached properties right now, that's for sold. So it's the day you get listed to the day you get an accepted offer. So if a property is taken longer than 33 days to sell, there's a couple things that could be wrong. One could be price. It could be priced higher than it should be in this market. That's why a valuation is so important and a constant update on the market and what's happening. So your realtor should be really finger on the pulse regarding what's happening, because the real estate market is volatile and it is literally changing every day. So what's new on the market, what's selling, and it doesn't matter what another active listing is priced at, it's what's selling, and that's key. So if it's lasting longer than 30 days, It also can be that it's not getting the right exposure. I have sold so many properties that the buyer did not find it on the traditional MLS. So you can't trust just the MLS. So, you know, it has to, if it has all the exposure, if it shows well, then really it has to come down to price or the market. So let me read from you from the real estate stats or the real estate board's report. So the Fraser Valley housing market signals further settling as sales continue to stall in response to interest rate rises, and they are continuing to rise again. So buyers just lately, the last couple of months, have really held back. The sales from July to August went down 51.3% compared to this time last year. That is more than half the amount of sales. And in some areas, it's like nothing is selling. There is hardly any sales. So for you to be the one to sell over all the other listings that are out there, and we have a lot of listings out there, there's a lot for buyers to choose from. So really, you have to show the best over any other property, and you have to be priced good. You have to be priced right under what you think it should sell for, or what your realtor thinks it's going to sell for. If you're listed under what you think it's going to sell for and you show really well and it's exposed correctly, then you should definitely sell within that 33 days. Hope that answers your question. As far as like commission, as far as the commission, usually there's a competition act out there. So there's no set commission, but there is sort of, brokerages have their suggested commissions, and different realtors can do what they want. So that is all based on the agreement that you choose with your realtor. But commissions usually a percentage, and percentages go down. So the commission goes down naturally as prices go down.
Very good answer here, Michele. Thank you for that. Any other questions we have here? Perfect. So, yeah, we'll leave it open for one more minute, and then we're going to do our draw here to be able to do our giveaway. So, any other questions?
Before we
I got
jump
all
into
the
the draw.
questions last time, so I got off easy this time.
Yeah, you did. Before we jump to the draw and before we stop answering any questions, I am just going to put up another slide. So we do this normally every month, but we are going to be changing our tactics a little bit and doing it every other month with the current market. We want to kind of see how things go into fall. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to be hosting our next Real Estate Wise seminar in November 17th to be exact. We are going to be focusing on investing in the real estate market, what that looks like, how you can get in, what you need, all that lovely stuff. So spread the news, tell your friends, family. Like I said, November 17th at 7 p.m. also on Zoom, and that will all be blasted out as we get a little bit closer to the date. You can register just as you did for today. And Brendan, if you give me the go ahead, I'm going to say it's going to be time to draw.
You bet. Sounds
All
good.
All right. Let me just stop sharing here.
And are we drawing for the Visa, $50 Visa? Or
Yeah,
we're doing...
$50 Visa, you bet. Okay, so looking at this here. Congratulations, Rosa. Can we get that out to you here and being able to have that? So congratulations. So if you can, yeah. So Rosa, if you can drop your phone number and email, if you can just either direct message that to one of us or be able to put that into the email that was sent to you, that would be perfect. Then we can be able to get that out to you. Okay. So congratulations. You're able to show up. Not only did we learn about real estate, we were able to learn about how it is to be a seller in a buyer's market and some of the things that you can indeed do to position yourself in the best way possible.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. We are so glad to be able to do this for you, giving you all the information that you need to give you the best chance at selling right now in this little bit weird of a market. So rising rates, slow sales, as we can see, it's slowed down quite a bit to that 33-day mark. But at this point, we've given you all the information to have the best chance. And as stated, please reach out if you have any questions going forward. We would love to get in touch and help you. And Brandon, I think that's it.
That's everything. So
Awesome. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night,
Thanks for
everyone.
coming, everyone.
Bye.